What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. Guys, we're coming live another Saturday post E3, coming fresh off the busiest week in gaming by far. I'm super glad to see you guys. I've been pretty quiet throughout this week. Not really any videos for me personally. The only really reason being is that I want to kind of let the information marinate. I don't want to be emotional about the decisions and things that we saw, games, stuff that we didn't see. I want to let it kind of sit, marinate, then I put out a video. So we decided just to go ahead and do the podcast today. I'm not going to be doing a video this week. But let's go ahead and dive in to some of my compatriots here, man. We got Stag. We're going to start with you, man, because you fresh off the private jet right now. So we got to get a hold of you before jet lag kick in and you fall asleep on the podcast. But let's go ahead and start with you, Stag. Let's let everybody know what's going on with you, where you just came from, and how busy you were, man.
Man, E3 was a blast, fan fest, both first time for me. I really enjoyed meeting everybody that I've been interacting with for almost a year now. It was a surreal experience. The amount of people, the amount of lights, the amount of things I saw, the parties, it was an amazing experience. And if you can ever go, I highly recommend experiencing this at some point in your life. I really loved it. So
Awesome. So if you guys didn't know, I said it all last week. I said it during the live stream. When we actually did watch the Xbox conference, Stag actually went to E3. He was at the FanFest event. We're all going to try and make our way there next year, guys. So you heard it here first. Hopefully, we're all able to meet up at E3 next year. Maybe we could even do something on location next year, hopefully. But appreciate you being on the show, Stag. I know you had a busy week. If you guys didn't know as well, a lot of his social media changed. I will make sure I put some of that in the description below so you guys are aware of that. But just keep in contact with him. Follow him. He has a lot going on. Amazing streamer. So we're going to go ahead and bounce over to Centurion, our guest of honor. At this point, Centurion, you've been on like 2-3 weeks in a row. You're going to get the fuzzy treatment. I'm no longer introducing you. You're pretty much part of the show, man, at this point. But we appreciate you taking some time out this Saturday. Let everybody know what's going on with you, man.
Well, I appreciate you letting me be here, and I'm coming down off that E3 hype. I had a blast watching the show with you guys, and I even checked out Stagger's tweets showing him at the show, and I believe you even held up a beer in a photo, right?
yeah.
Man, I was just like I got to go get a burger.
Nice. So yeah, you did have some phenomenal pictures. So Stag was hitting us in the DMs all during the show with some inside pictures. Just giving us some, on location information as what's going on at the show. So we really appreciated that. I do want to let you guys know something about the stream before we dive in and get to Fuzzy. I did have to take the stream down. It was actually kind of premature. Some funny stuff going on with YouTube. I did not want to get a copyright strike on my channel, so I pulled it down, guys. So I do apologize if you didn't get the chance to see it when it was live. We're going to have another one next year. So hopefully next year that one will stay up and we don't have to worry about it getting pulled down or getting any strikes, okay? But Fuzz, man, I know you've been MIA all week pretty much, but what's going on with you,
man? Been waiting for the Forza drop as far as the Lego expansion, but I'll get more into that. Been off and on Twitter, been on the Forza forums and checking out Stagger's pictures and things like that, and man, just looking forward to a lot of the games that were announced at E3. But glad to be here, glad to have everybody here with us, and man, can't wait to talk about the topics today.
And let's get it. Let's dive in. Let's wait no further. Once again, if you're here for your first time, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 2K subscribers. That is the goal, man. I got a great group of guys here. Shout out to Jarhead. Shout out to Zarker as well, our other members of the Shop Podcast. Appreciate you guys for showing up live as well. We're going to just go ahead and dive in. Shout out to Jay, man. He just popped in here. Graphic God, Jace. Appreciate you, brother. So let's go ahead and get this ball rolling. So we're going to start with the new system, man. So at E3, obviously at the Xbox event, it was announced that we're definitely getting a new system holiday 2020. Now, November, December, could be either or. Obviously, 2013, the Xbox One dropped in November, so I would lean towards more November. Traditionally, we don't get systems in December right at Christmas. I think November, but I want to get everybody's kind of opinion as well as you guys in the chat. Let us know what you guys think about what we're talking about. But I'm going to start with you, Stag, because you were at the event. How did you feel when Phil started talking about the new console? What do you think about the launch window, some of the things we've seen? Just your overall opinion on 2020 holiday new console.
I mean, I can't wait. It's a day one purchase for me. I'm super excited for more details. I mean, I was a little disappointed we didn't get any more hard details, but I understand we've got a while to go. I mean, I would love to see more specs, some launch titles, and game reveals. But we got a year and a half, and we got another E3 before then. So I mean, I really, honestly feel like they're not even going to. I've said this before. I think on the last podcast I was on 2 weeks ago before I went to E3 that I think they're going to stick with the same case. But I mean, they might not do that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how much can you change the form factor? It's a box. I mean, that's not going to be outrageous.
It's perfect to just throw the new gear in. If it's going to fit, why not just use the case you have and extend the family? I mean, that's what they've basically done this whole time is just keep extending the Xbox One family.
The one thing I would like to see is maybe a new color scheme, maybe like a gray, kind of a, maybe a gray console
to differentiate it from the other one.
Yeah, like, maybe a gray console, maybe I don't know if they'd ever change the logo. They've kind of done that over the years, kind of played around with the X and how it looks on the Xbox. But I mean, the form factor is perfect. But go ahead and continue your point.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to slowly trickle info leading up to E3, then drop it all during the briefing. Maybe not show us what it looks like until then. I honestly think like Sony, since now that Xbox has come out and said holiday 2020, Sony's got to basically come in right around then. Just to not lose any market share, really. I mean, this is especially if Xbox is slowly over the year, like saying, all right, this game's coming, more first-party exclusives, AAAs down to indies. I really think Xbox will still come out swinging hard all year and at launch to not only put the pressure on Sony and Nintendo, but to win back a huge part of the market share they lost with the One. Because, I mean, they were winning in the 360 days.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they said all that stuff they said about, you're going to have to
blame that on
be online, you're going to have to, used games aren't going to work and stuff like that. They really lost a lot of people. And then, there's always that argument of there's no exclusives and blah, 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 blah. So they hurt us, and their pocketbooks hurt them. But, I mean, they're still killing it on subs, and they're always going to kill it on subs. But I think we're in for a huge treat 2020.
Nice. And I get that feeling, too. What the crazy thing about it is that the one point you made in that whole spiel that you just went on with was that the year's not over. We don't get information one time a year. E3 is not the only time we're going to get more information. We get information throughout the year. There's going to be inside Xboxes. We're getting another event in, I think, is it France, the next Xbox?
It's in London.
Or London, sorry. Wrong country. I know it was one of the European countries. I couldn't remember exactly. We're going to get that event. They already announced that. So we're going to get more throughout the year. So anybody who left the show disappointed, obviously, based on your expectations, it may not help any further. But if you left the show with any, normal expectations or just kind of maybe slightly disappointed, I think we're going to see more, and that's what I'm excited about. Gamescom, shout out to Zinc. Let's not forget about that. Now, last year, I know they didn't do a whole lot at Gamescom as far as revealing anything, but this year, who knows? Maybe they saved some things. I remember, what year was it that they saved a couple things for Gamescom? Was it 2015? Where they held back a couple things at E3 and it showed a few extra stuff? Was it 2015, I think, guys? I may be missing that one, but
I mean, we know they're holding things back because they're making a Fable 4 for what that it's coming.
You know what? Somebody said that too. With the show being in the UK, it'd be nice to show it at that show because it's in the UK and there's such a connection with that game and the background and the storyline. The humor is all kind of British humor. So I think that would be kind of cool too. Shout out to James. He just popped in. Appreciate you, Mod. But let's go ahead and bounce this question right over to Centurion. Were you done, Stag? I don't want to.
No, we're good, man. I went to the spiel.
Okay, cool. Not a problem, man. So we're going to go ahead and bounce this over to you, Centurion, now. We watched the show live here. What do you think about the announcement, Holiday 2020? We're going to see new console.
I'm with Stag. I'm a day one buyer. I'm already got my financial plans going on in the back of my head on how I'm going to pull this off. But I'm definitely excited. I'm ready to see what they're cooking for us over at AMD or whatever it is where they're designing this thing. I am definitely curious on if there's because there's always that thing because right now they're only mentioning two consoles. I mean, the one console, the Scarlet. So is there going to be two consoles or is there going to be one console? So they're kind of not being clear on that. But even if there is a lower class console, I'm definitely going to be an Scarlet buyer. I want the higher end one.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And yeah, I'm just curious on what some of the other specs are, because the one thing that I keep hanging on is that 4 times more power. I know that's not teraflops. I know that's probably just processing and some other functions, but I'm really wanting to know what are load times on this console.
That was a huge takeaway. Is there's not gonna be load times.
Yeah.
Yeah, they almost flat out said it. I mean, they went about 30 seconds between like Mikey Barr, 2 other girls that were in that, Sizzle Reel, a couple other people specifically saying and talking about load times. That's the first thing I think they addressed in the entire trailer.
And I'm still hung up on the words, "It eats monsters for breakfast." I just totally love that. That was great, and I'm glad they threw that in there.
Nice. So Zinc, and I want to throw this kind of wrinkle in there. You said there's always been one console. You said that was rumor. So, I mean, we can go back and forth about that. There was some legitimate information early this year that there may be a couple different SKUs. Even late last year, we all talked about that. You can go check on the podcast in our archive. We've been talking about this for probably at least a year now. So who knows? But go ahead.
I was going to say, I was just wanting to go off what you were saying, but I can handle them changing that because, when they probably first came up with the idea of a multi-SKU system, the economy was totally different than what it is right now. Because, you look what's going on with the economy around the world. It's completely unstable. So at this point, I'm not going to hang on that because I understand, just in life, things happen. Mm-hmm. So maybe they had to drop that lower class SKU because things weren't just lining up or it just wasn't working out right.
Yeah, it happens. It's this thing about business that people don't understand. Now, we're not making up excuses or anything, but it does happen. It's business. Plans change, contracts change, ideas change. I'm sure on a daily basis. This is why these consoles take so much time to make. These things are already thought about 3-4 years in the past, and as time goes by, they run into new challenges, and they have to adjust to the market, to its fans, to your base, your player base. They have a lot of things that they try and account for. They're not going to be able to cover everything, but they do the best they damn sure can. And I think that's why me, Stag, Fuzzy, Centurion are extremely excited about it. I feel like one thing I took away before we get to Fuzz, if they're committed. Because a lot of things have been, if you look at the last, prior to 2018, a lot of people had always felt like Xbox wasn't all the way in. How many times do we hear that? Well, they're going to get out of the console business. They're just going to go full stream box, and they're going to no home console. They are reiterating what did Phil say? We understand the need for a home console. It is made to play video games. We get it. He said it specifically on stage. So I love the fact that they recommitted to the idea of let's get a home console. We're committed to the powerful idea. We're going to keep this thing going. Obviously, xCloud is the next big thing. It's not there yet.
Hello?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Okay, I'm sorry if I cut off there shortly, but I do apologize. But yeah, so let's go ahead and bounce this over to Fuzz, man. What do you think? Obviously, you watched it live with us. What do you think about the 2020 release of the new console?
Also a day one buy. I think the only thing I have to kind of figure out is with the kids right now, if they're not going to do the Lockhart, then it means I'm not going to trade in my Xbox One X. I'll trade in the 2 Xbox Ones, and then I'll get my, what do you call them? My Anaconda or whatever the higher end Scarlet is, and then wind up getting like a second X1X. Hopefully by that point, they'll probably drop to 350 range anyway. But yeah, I'm definitely getting the new system day one, or as soon as they can open up the pre-orders. Hopefully GameStop's still around by then, so we could do.
Bang bang.
They're changing their entire business model. They're not going anywhere.
Good. But definitely pre-ordering day one with that, and then hopefully I'll have enough spare change left over to do the PS5 as well, because I'm going to wind up having both again.
So before you continue, I don't want to cut you off, Fuzz, but let me let AP. It's okay. We're all different. So shout out to AP Cool J. Appreciate you, but we're all different. If you weren't excited about it, or he pretty much said, how can anyone be positive after that conference? We all are. So I'm sorry if you feel the opposite, but we're all individually. So I just wanted to address that before that snowball. But go ahead.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I look at it this way: the only low spots for that conference, if you want to call them low spots, for at least for me, they didn't mention pricing on XCloud. That's one thing I'm really looking forward to, just for the fact that spare time when I take the one of my vehicles in for an oil change. I know I could do it myself at home, but I'd rather just have somebody do the oil change, and while I'm waiting, I can continue whatever game I did at home while I'm in the waiting room getting the oil change, or maybe on lunch break. One of the guys at the office is trying to do a mission or do something in Division. If I can stream it on my phone and he can stream it on his phone, hey, we can knock out a short mission during the lunch break because we get an hour lunch. But for the most part, there was just so many things in that conference that I look forward to. Not just the first party stuff, but Cyberpunk. The fact that it's actually going to be out next year was probably a big thing. But when it comes to the consoles themselves, to have basically the next iteration of the X1X. I mean, the X1X is what really locked me into this ecosystem. To have games that I had already purchased and games that I'm continuing to purchase look on the line of PC without having to spend PC money, for me, is a win-win. And sure, I know, you can build a PC for about the same amount as the X1X. Not as far as I'm concerned. I'm from the old school of PCs where you build a high-end, well, not necessarily a high-end PC, but you're upgrading the video card, not every year, but maybe every other year, or at least that's what I used to do. I'm not going to bother with that right now. Yes, I will build a PC at some point, but I'd rather just spend $500 on an X1X. These tariffs come in, then I guess I'll be spending 620, 630, 650, whatever. But in the same instance, if the tariffs are going up on the consoles, then so would be the parts for the PC. So either way, it's going to cost more in the long run. But let's just hope that's just a scare tactic for now. But I'm definitely looking forward to holiday 2020. Not while it isn't, but I am.
Same here, and I think that cemented the conference, cemented my belief, like I said, in the direction that the company's going. Say what you want, there was a lot there. If you just take the fanboy glasses off, look at the event, maybe rewatch it. There was a lot there. It may not be for everybody, which is fine, but there was a ton of information there. We got a ton to look forward to. Ton of great games. Some games that were kind of left field that I didn't even see coming. The
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch was that was one. I think what was the other one that I hadn't played since I was a kid? Phantasy Star Online. That was another one that I hadn't played since I was a lot younger. Didn't see that coming at all, and it's a huge game in Japan, which is cool for the Xbox. Something to get people into the ecosystem. But I was excited entirely about it. For the most part about everything. Obviously, there's a couple things that I thought they could have done. Fable, was a big one for a lot of us. If you're hurting like myself, I'm okay with that. We got other things going on, and we may or may not get a Fable ever, but I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead and bounce off this topic to the next one. Once again, guys, that was just a nice little warm up. Thank you for everybody showing up today. Smack the like button as you come into the show. We appreciate you in the chat. Let us know how you feel about what we're talking about. We love to get your feedback and opinions. So we're going to bounce right over to Halo. So to me, this was the highlight of the entire show, but just because I'm a huge Halo fan. And Master Chief is a god to me. So I think Halo Infinite, obviously it wasn't full gameplay, but what we saw, the way they revealed Master Chief was amazing. It brought back, so I got chills watching it. I got goosebumps. When that music, that first, doom, 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 that first little, oh man. That's how you know Marty's back. Like that just, it took me right back to where I wanted to be with Halo. And I think them building a character, I don't know the guy who he is. None of us really know yet. But I think he may play a big part in the game at some point, maybe helping Chief or assisting him in some way, or just being maybe kind of that voice in your head. Like instead we don't have Cortana, we'll get him kind of helping us through missions maybe. Who knows? So I thought the game looked phenomenal graphically. Obviously, it's a launch title, so it's going to be far and away graphically better than probably anything we've seen that could be put out on the Xbox at this point. But I want to get you guys' opinion. We're going to start with you, Stagger, because you was there. I want to know what it felt like. What'd you see? How did you feel about what you saw from Halo?
Oh, man, I'm so freaking ready for more Master Chief goodness. Dude, you said you got goosebumps. Like, as you were talking about it, I just had like chill go through my entire body. Like, That was my, I mean, not my first love in gaming, but like I was anti Xbox being in the gaming industry when they first rolled out the original Xbox.
Mhm.
I was a Nintendo, Sony guy, diehard. I didn't get a Xbox for a long time, and then I bought one cheaply off a friend for like $90 with 5 games, played Halo, and I have never looked back since.
Wow.
I honestly though, part of me really wanted to see more gameplay, but
All of us did.
we're a year and a half away, and it's freaking Halo. If you don't know what a Halo game is by now, what have you been doing? I mean, I know they've made changes to the series a little bit over time, you know, to like go with the flow with the times, like, you know, they answered to Call of Duty, like I've said before. But I mean, the core mechanics are almost always the same. The level structures are almost always the same. We know what we're getting ourselves into. But with this whole, like, you know, there's no load times, that really kind of changes everything.
We talked about open world. We talked about that kind of stuff, those ideas. Once let me not put that out there like that's what it's going to be.
So, I mean, I heard a lot of people disappointed that we didn't get gameplay, but
I don't know why.
There's a ton of time to trickle out info and campaign and multiplayer details. And I mean, do we really want them to show us the stuff right now that might ultimately hit the cutting room floor and then have clickbait content creators bash them for not including that 10 seconds they showed at E3?
So let me do this. Because we need to rewind before we continue talking about Halo. So didn't about a year and a half ago, we had this big fallout about companies showing games too early. Didn't we all not like that at one point? Were we all universally in agreement that we don't want them to show shit too early? If it's not ready, don't show it.
No, why would you show something that's not
so
ready?
That's my point with Halo. It's a trailer. It did what it was supposed to do. We didn't get any gameplay, but we got a general idea.
There was a smidgen of gameplay.
A small smidgen, but that's all I needed to see. The potential of the game. I don't need to see Master Chief running around, fucking parkouring on everybody and shooting. I don't need to see that yet. I'm not ready
to sell systems for sure.
We got a whole nother E3. So why would you show any of that now? Just give us a taste. We want Halo. Everybody's thirsty for Halo. So anyway, that's my point. We were all in agreement not too long ago that we did not want these developers to show too much. I'm fine with the tidbit we got, but go ahead and make your point, Stag.
I mean, we've kind of hit it, but just like I said, if they showed something right now, and I mean, the developers, publishers have done this before where they've showed something and then it never made the final game and they got trashed for it. Like, oh, where's this one thing you showed us? It's like, fine, you know what? We're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to tease you with this little video. And like I said, we know what Halo is and we have a year and a half. It's going to sell systems regardless. It's not going to suck. It's freaking Halo and they're not going to tarnish the legacy of that game, of the universe of Halo and the lore. It's just not going to. I mean, it's meant to sell systems and, as they said, stick to what made Halo amazing. 343 is definitely doing good things with it, in my opinion, and we're going to be really happy. And granted, we have what do you have to go off of, because you haven't seen anything? History. I have history to go off of. So yeah,
sounds about right to me.
I'm going to be happy with it. I'm going to play the shit out of it. And it made me, I mean, I was going to buy the new Xbox anyways, but now that Halo is going to launch with it for damn sure.
It's a wrap. I'm
done. I mean, that's not even if I don't have the money in the bank account, which I typically do, it's going straight on the credit card. No doubt about it. So, I mean, they got my money. Just take it. Here, I'm good.
I feel you. We're going to go ahead and bounce this over to you, Centurion. Man, I know you were watching once again live with me, and I got goosebumps watching that Halo. What do you think about how it was revealed, the game moving forward? I know you're excited for it already. We talked about this the day after that. So just go ahead and give us an opinion. What do you think about the game, and how excited are you actually for it?
Well, technically, there was clips of gameplay in the sizzle reel at the end, like the warthog jumping over hills and stuff. So technically, gameplay was shown. If people want to say that it wasn't, and I'm not damage controlling, I really enjoyed what was shown to me. I'm perfectly fine what was shown to me. And again, I don't bash games. I just point out facts. How many Last of Us 2 trailers have we seen come out of PlayStation? Now name one bit of gameplay. And Last of Us 2 is supposed to be basically the Xbox killer of all games.
That game, well, that wasn't really game. It was like a scripted gameplay. The last thing we saw from Last of Us 2 when she was
As
running
far as
around
I
and
know.
stabbed those dudes. I don't know if anybody had a controller in their hand, but I guess you can count that as gameplay. It's not too
Well,
different than what we saw the little small midget from the smidgen from Halo.
yeah, it was a cutscene.
Yeah,
It was mostly a cutscene. So why is it okay for one guy to show cutscene after cutscene, and then we hold somebody to a different standard? And I'm not damage controlling. I'm just pointing out the fact that I'm not going to hold somebody to a different standard than a different company. I was perfectly fine with what was shown. It's got me hyped. I'm getting those feelings again from when I stood in line to get Halo 3 just to go home and play multiplayer. And I remember putting it in on the first weekend that game came out. And remember how it had the map and it would show you how many people around the world were on the server at that time?
Dude, that's the first thing I used to do.
Dude, I still remember that first time I put that disc in and you saw that map come up and it's all 1.3 million people. So it's bringing back old memories that I was really fond of Halo, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Oh man, I'm excited too. Fuzz, we gotta throw this over to you, my G. Fuzzy, you watching it live with us, man? What are your opinions on the game? I know you're in. I know you're all in on it, man. We watched it all together, but what do you think about what you're gonna see going forward from Halo? Are you excited about the way they revealed it? I have seen some people kind of back and forth about what they showed, but either way, go ahead.
No, I'm happy to see at least in engine. Yes, fine. It was running on a PC, but the PC is supposed to be spec to what the next what the Scarlet's going to be. To see the graphical detail from when Master Chief was floating outside the ship and everything.
Yeah, and
then him clearing off the canopy. The boot up screen. All of the little details, like the little hologram on like the disc for his wife or whoever.
Yeah,
the guy that was on the ship and stuff. All those little details in engine. That means that at some point you're going to see some of those details or something very similar to that in the game. So I'm fine with that. It's a year and a half away at the earliest right now before we actually get our hands on the game. So I'm fine with the cutscene or the in-engine scenes and things like that. So I just look forward to when it comes out. Those that are, I guess disappointed that they didn't get to see gameplay, I look at it this way. And Stagger hit on this earlier, Centurion hit on this earlier. If they have something that we see now and it's taken away, they will be rung through the ringer as far as for that one thing not being in the game. Me being a big Division fan, the first Division, they showed the drone. And you still have people to this day that will complain that they didn't have that drone in the Division 1. So I can understand why they don't want to show gameplay if something may change. I mean, in all honesty, it's kind of not to even put this game on the same level or anywhere near Halo, but we see what happened with the gameplay from Anthem.
Yep.
Essentially, that trailer was the actual start of them focusing on how to build the game. That was, I guess, the fifth or sixth iteration of them having flying in the game. They had it in that trailer, and then they had to build the game around that, and they pretty much spent or did that in 18 months. Not saying that that's anywhere near the case with Halo, but for us to see gameplay and have it where, okay, they have to focus on everything that we saw in that 30 minutes or 10 minutes clip, it would just be, a nightmare if anything was out of sorts by the time it launches. So I'm fine with them, waiting until either XO19 or E3 2020 to show gameplay. I'm not expecting to see anything really, to be honest, until E3 2020.
Yeah,
and then get like a launch date and whatnot. But yeah, for the most part, I was fine with just seeing the in-engine stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's safe to say. I think honestly, like Stag, you said it. We know what we're getting from Halo. I mean, well, we don't know what we're getting from Halo this time around. Partly, we don't know what we're getting from Halo. That's what makes it exciting. But I think we're all in. I mean, this is pretty open and shut. You see Halo, you see Master Chief. That's all you need to know. I mean, let's be honest. We don't really need to see everything, and I appreciate the fact that they're not giving us everything, because I feel like, once again, they're reiterating the point. We're all in. We hear what you guys are saying. We heard what you guys said about the last Halo. We heard what you guys said about the last Xbox. We want to make changes. We want to do better. And I feel like they're gearing up. They're definitely have us in mind with all the changes that they're making. Once again, we may not get everything we want, but at the end of the day, I think they're going in the right direction. And with Halo, I mean, the story they brought back Marty O'Donnell, that music, man. Oh my God. That's what gave me chills. Was hearing that score when he's kind of brushed off the window and that music, that little ding, that piano, it was a wrap. It was a wrap at that point. Like you could end the show at that point. I'm good to go. I don't even need to see anything else. So I'm sold. Salty said about map editor. Is that confirmed? There a map editor or something? Oh, Gears 5.
There is
Wrong game.
Gears.
I'm sorry. Wrong game. I didn't see the rest of the comment. I just saw map.
It's all good.
Either way, let me not throw out no damn rumors and get that started. But either way, let's go ahead and keep moving, man. Once again, we appreciate you guys showing up, showing out. The chat is going crazy. I can hardly keep up. And that was a great question, Salty. I'm going to answer that later, bro. We'll definitely take that as like one of the ending of the show questions. But let's move on, man. So I want to talk about this, and this is kind of, it's not vague, but it's something that I guess we can all interpret differently, and it's the state of game. So coming off of E3, everybody has all these opinions, and everybody's in their feelings, but I want to get you guys individual opinions. Now, when I say gaming, we're talking Nintendo, we're talking Sony, we're talking even PC. Where are you at right now after this E3, just with your overall direction that the industry is going in, not just a specific company? So we're going to start with you, Fuzz, on this one. Where are you at right now post E3? How do you feel? Like, are you pretty happy about the future? Are you pretty bright, or how do you feel about the state of gaming currently?
I'm pretty happy, and I think it was, I want to say it was Worrywart made a post on Twitter not too long ago how there's like this disconnect between some of us that post on social media versus those that don't even bother participating in social media at all as far as when it comes to gaming. Yeah, they might be on Instagram posting their vacation pics and things like that, but generally a lot of people that got to see E3 but aren't on social media about gaming are extremely excited. Like a lot of guys at my office that have Nintendo Switches are happy about a lot of the things that's coming to the Switch, as well as now a lot of them, more so than before, are looking at the Xbox as possibly the home console, and the Switch, which was their only console at the time, other than like their old 360 or maybe their PS4 that they haven't used in a while. They're actually looking at Xbox now for a lot of the things that, I guess more people are starting to, get into indie games, as far as for not necessarily the masses on social media, but the masses in general are picking up on indie games now. And that was a big thing amongst, I got an office of about over 150 people. I would say 40 plus are looking at things like that. Yeah, a few of them were like, "What's that deer game with the glowing antlers?" But
Lord.
they want to buy it. They want to play it. They want to find out more about it. Yeah, people might laugh about the game, but it's enough of an interesting game that people are looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Those that look at what do you call them? Battletoads. Yes, it would have been great if they did a AAA where it was almost like.
I don't get why people want Battletoads to look like God of War. What the fuck is your problem? Why does it need to look like that? If you ever played Battle War or Battletoads, sorry, it's a comic type game. They're doing ridiculous shit for frogs turning into inanimate objects. Why would you want it to look anything
God of Toads
like a cartoon? I don't understand what the problem is. Everything has to be 3D modeling. Like I don't understand why does it. Anyway, go ahead, Fuzz. That's my
no. No, a lot of people like the actual cartoon like look of it. I mean, first of all, a lot of people are still looking for like a Streets of Rage 4. I've turned some people to Rage Injustice because that's about the closest thing to kind of carry them over until the meantime. And then Battletoads, even though it's not quite the same like pixel art type of setup, but that beat 'em up type setup with like that type of graphic style, people just look at that and say that's something that's fun that I'm going to buy, and I'm going to probably play it for a ton of hours, and then probably put it down for like the next big title, or maybe a sports title or something like that, and then come back to it every now and then. But if I look on Twitter, everybody, well, not everybody, a lot of people were bad mouthing it. If I
Yeah.
look at the people that I work with or people that I've just encountered, whether it's at the grocery store or whatnot, a lot of people are looking forward to that game in its current form. So it the state of gaming, minus social media, I think is in a good place right now.
Yeah.
With social
Okay.
media, not fully, but I would say in some aspects, there are those that are just looking at everything negatively, either on one side or the other. But it just seems like they've lost sight of what this hobby is about. It's about having fun. It's about playing games. Sure, there's competitiveness in those games, but to be negative about something, you can fix that situation with your wallet. Don't buy it.
Negative
If you
gets
already
clicks,
bought it
though.
and you don't like it, then trade it in or sell it or return it.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'm happy with the state of gaming now. Yes, I'm not the biggest fan of this Lego expansion in
I
Forza,
know you was gonna
but
get
you know
that in
what?
somewhere. I knew you had it.
But I played probably 4 or 5 hours worth of it. Hey, there's some easy achievements in it. Yes, it's silly fun. It's great hearing that plastic sound when you crash through the trees and things like that. But outside of that, I'll probably play motorsport more, or just go back to the regular version of Horizon 4. But for what it is, it's an escape from reality, and it's great, and that's what video games are supposed to be. So
For the most part,
I
that's what
think
I
it's in a
thought.
great state.
Cool, awesome. Appreciate that, man. You know what? And I want to address something too, guys. Now, I didn't throw this topic in there to really specifically harp on any group or crowd or any specific person. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions, and I don't want anybody in the chat or anybody listening live to think that we're pigeonholing anybody or cornering off a group. All we're saying is that we all have difference in opinions, guys, and it's okay. It's fine. Some of us enjoyed the show, some of us didn't. But the one thing I do want to point out is that if you went in with the expect, because I feel like, and I want to address this, I feel like some people went in because Sony didn't have a show. They felt like Microsoft had to make up for Sony not having a show,
Wow.
and I don't think that's fair to Xbox to say you need to make up for Sony not being here. Like that's not really fair. To they have their own show, own event, completely different product. I don't know if you guys, any of you, felt that way, but we can go ahead and bounce this over to Centurion. But what do you think about the state of gaming? Where you think you're at moving forward?
Well, I'm going to first bounce off what you said about saying, Microsoft having to make up for Sony, put it into perspective. Have you ever been at work and somebody calls out and your boss looks at you saying, hey, it's your job to make up for that guy? You don't like that. So again, why would you expect that out of Microsoft? They didn't, there's like, well, wait a minute. I'm not here to support both sides. I'm just here to rep Xbox.
Exactly.
But on the state of the gaming, I'm enjoying it. I loved what was shown off of it, Ubisoft. I loved what was shown off at the Bethesda show. I'm one of those people that are like clapping my hands for NPCs in Fallout 76. So I'm happy. We're there. We got Microsoft pushing for new technology in the gaming world outside of graphics, because every single year, every single E3, every time a game console is talked about, graphics are the first thing that come out. Now Microsoft is branching away from that. They're trying to also push new technology like xCloud. They're also one of the first gaming hardware developers to actually come out with certified controllers for handicapped people. They're also pushing the limits when it comes to an actual standard controller. Look at the Elite 2.
Crazy.
I'm wanting to get one of these things, but
They got like 6 of them pre-ordered.
I'm having this big debate in my head. Do I want to get an SSD for my Xbox right now, or do I want to get an Elite 2? I haven't exactly figured that debate out yet, because there's nothing wrong with my Elite 1 because I baby the thing, but I'm totally excited for what we're getting in games. I know my backlog is suffering because of it, because I just don't have enough time to really play anything, and it looks like it's just going to get longer. But I'm happy with the way things are going right now. Yeah, there's room for improvement, like with everything, but I'm not going to sit around and say that gaming's turning into a dumpster fire.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can 100% agree with that. So I think pretty much we're all, before we get to Stag, in agreement on this particular topic. State of gaming is fine. You know, the funny thing about this You know, the funny, and as you look at this in a microscope, we do this right after E3 for a couple weeks. In like a month from now, none of us will even be talking about this shit. You know, we do this now because it's fresh in our minds. Like I said, a lot of people are emotional. That's exactly the reason why I wait after to make videos and talk about these things, because people are too much in their feelings, and they say things, and then 2 months later they got to retract what they said earlier, and I'm not doing any of that. So let's go ahead and bounce this over to you, Stag. What do you think? I mean, you were there live, but what was the feel from you about just the direction of PC gaming, console gaming, and where you're at right now?
I mean, I think we're in a great place. Honestly, I mean, we've got a lot to play on multiple systems, and it's over a year till the next consoles drop. There's plenty of games coming out between now and then. We have a ton to look forward to, from Gears 5, Cyberpunk, the Outer Worlds, the Minecraft Dungeons. I mean, even mobily, we've got the Gears Pop game, which we don't want this. Bullshit, I'm playing that. You know, we've got a plethora of indie titles hitting Game Pass, and the Ultimate Game Pass, including, you know, the Game Pass, the Gold, the PC Game Pass for $14.99. I mean, they told us we're going to get what, over 100 PC games. I mean, granted, not everybody's a PC player, but like I personally, I play on everything. I haven't really touched the Switch because the controls mess with my brain. But I mean, there's just so many games to play for an amazingly cost-effective price for like just the gaming Gamer Pass Ultimate thing. I mean, for basically $180 a year, which is 3 AAA titles, you have access to hundreds of games. I mean, how can you not love that? You know, I mean, like, you get all the Microsoft Studio games going forward. You know, I don't know. If people want to sit there and say, like, oh, I want to own physical copies, fine. Go buy your physical copies. Mm-hmm. Add to your digital, I mean, your physical collection and the clutter in your house. And
ask them. Those same people, ask them if you could borrow a compact disc, a CD from them. Can I borrow?
Exactly. Like, I mean, every industry. I mean, granted, you could still buy CDs, you can still buy movies, but all these industries of media are moving towards digital. I mean, not only does it make economic sense, it makes environmental sense, which I always throw that out there. I mean, you know, hey, Captain Recycle over here, but I mean, my whole point is, fine, go buy your stuff, and 2, shut up. We know you're a collector. We know you want your stuff, but as gamers, I mean, I think we're in a great place, and there's more to come with the new systems with like no load times, bigger, more expansive games. And that whole xCloud thing, I mean, like, granted, you're still and being able to like use your console as your streaming device, you know, or as your whatever, your server, or however they put it. But like xCloud, like, everything I heard, I didn't personally play it because I didn't want to wait in the line after waiting in another line. Everything I heard from people that hands-on it that I talked to at E3 said it was fucking amazing, like word for word. Like, I heard those words from at least 10 people that it blew their mind and it was amazing, and they can't wait to really have it all the time. So honestly, we're in a great place. Like Phil said, like, we weren't going to launch a new system until like it was a game changer, and we're there. I mean, granted, it's a year and a half away, but we're there. Like, there's a reason to do it, because graphically, hardware wise, you know, SSDs, all that stuff, it's ready. I mean, it's not 100% ready, but you know, that jump is there. Like, it's going to happen, and it's going to be great, and we're all going to start drooling and not get any sleep because we're too busy playing our freaking games that never load.
So you know what? The point I also want to bring up, before we get off this topic and move on to our final one before we start taking questions, is that I'd argue we're in like the Renaissance period. Like, this is fun. This is a fun time. We don't get the in-between consoles, but every almost damn near decade, every 7 to 10 years, we get a brand new console. This is the fun time right now. We're getting some new shit soon. Why are you guys hanging your heads? Like, but once again, I'm not going to harp too much on that. We're all in a good space here. I enjoy the fact that we're in this state of gaming. I love the direction, technology. And the funny thing about it, Stagger, you could probably agree with me on this. PC seems to be more in sync with consoles now than ever. As far as like, you know, that whole, you know, them coming together, Game Pass being on PC now. You know, AMD, you know, their situation, their relationship with the console makers. I think PC gaming console gaming is in probably a better space than it's almost ever been.
AMD is going to change the game, to be honest with you. After sitting through their conference, I mean, granted, I was a little bit inebriated, but I have it on good authority from my buddy who wasn't and is really into the PC stuff and the specs and everything like that, that he was like, no, dude, what AMD is talking about right now is faster and like half the cost of what NVIDIA is doing. And NVIDIA better listen up because they're about to get beat up.
Okay.
So,
well, we got it on good. We'll see.
I also think like, so PC gamers always give us crap that like, oh, I can do this and I can do that and I can blah, blah, blah. Fine. All you've got above us now is you can swap out a part. That's all you have anymore because we're going to be able to do everything you can do now.
Yeah. So
And
we'll
we
see.
can play your games.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see. Shout out to Xbot. He made it actually before the show ended today. So last week he came at the butt end of the show. But appreciate you, Xbot. Go check out his channel. I'm sure they just got done with a podcast right before mine. So go check Xbot out. Good friend of mine. We gonna go ahead and bounce over to this last topic, man. We got 23 people in here. Show getting better, bigger every single week. Appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way in. This is a doozy here. So it's kind of piggybacking off of what Salty asked me earlier about games coming out of E3. So I want each one of you guys top 3 games coming out of E3 from what you saw. It doesn't matter the console, doesn't matter the system, none of that. Top 3 games. We start with you, Fuzz. You are on the chopping block. Come on.
always put me in the rough spot. Well, Cyberpunk.
Yep.
Cyberpunk, hands down. I mean, I there's a lot of games out there I really like and I'm looking forward to, but Cyberpunk above all for right now. Only because this is coming out sooner as opposed to something else that will be maybe a year and a half away. Gears 5. And yes, we only got to see the escape, but they also have Terminator mixed in there, and I'm looking forward to see what that mode's going to be like. And then hopefully we'll get to see more of Gears 5 at XO19. And then I'm going to go with something completely from Ubisoft's, what do you call them, from their stream, Watch Dogs 3. Or Watch Dogs Legion, I'm sorry. The concept of it, where any NPC is basically, and what is normally an NPC is now a playable character. I definitely want to check that out. So those are my top 3. Only
There's
because
gonna be a whole lot of YouTube videos coming from that, boy. Jesus Christ, we're gonna see a whole bunch of old women running around. I've seen a video of a granny beating up somebody. Yeah.
But yeah, those are my top 3. I mean, there's so many other ones that were good mentions, like Blair Witch. I want to see a bit more of it, but that's also a day one buy for me as well. Halo Infinite, but that is over a year and a half away. What else? There's just so many things.
Well, you got
Outer
so
Worlds
far.
is up there.
Yeah, you got 3 so far. So
those are my top 3, but there's probably about another 12 to 15 that are day one buys for me as is.
Okay. Good list, man. That's a damn good list. So we're gonna bounce this over to you, Centurion. Where you at, man? Top 3 games coming out of E3 that you've seen.
Well, let me try to think which top 3 I'm going to go with, because I know I'm thankful for Game Pass, because I'm already trying to contemplate how I'm going to go broke trying to play them all. But definitely for me, I'm a sci-fi nerd, so we're going to have to go with the new Star Wars game.
Okay.
Outer Worlds, and definitely Cyberpunk. I don't want to name Halo and Gears because those are all staples on the Xbox console. It's the reason why I buy my Xboxes, so those are givens. Another one that did leap out at me though as a notable mention was Bleeding Edge.
Oh, I
have friends that I play Overwatch with. I actually do enjoy it, even though yes, they have some matchmaking broken issues. But definitely it stands out to me as something that I'm probably going to have a blast playing with my friends.
Okay. You know what? I agree. And you know what the funny thing is? I missed the whole leak of Bleeding Edge intentionally. I damn near saw it in my timeline on accident the day before, but I missed it. But I did catch a couple tweets prior to Xbox's E3 about it, and I didn't really want to take anybody's word for it because I knew I still wanted to see for myself. So just to kind of, did you finish? I don't want to cut you off if you.
Oh no, I was just wanting to say that I try to stay away from leaks as a result of that. And if you watch the E3 event, when you see the two people come out from Ninja Theory, we talked about it while we were watching our live reactions. You could almost see it in their eyes that they were just a smidge disappointed that some yahoo leaked that game on them, and they were totally wanting it to be an exciting surprise. And you could just tell like some of the excitement had been sucked out of them as a result of that.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough to put your whole life, you know what I'm saying, essentially into a game, you know, for however many years you've been working on it. It's a, you know, it's a passion. And to see it just thrown out the window, the excitement because somebody decides to sneak a fucking, cell phone and something in the, pre E3, whatever the case may be, and snap a video of it, it's kind of hurts a little bit. But we did point that out. But my three essentially moving forward here, excluding I guess Halo and Gears since we're going that route. Doom was always fun. Doom Eternal looked amazing. So shout out to Xbot. That was already on my list. Xbot is probably 3. Game looked phenomenal. I think Doom 1 is probably one of the most underrated games I don't say last gen because we're still in it, but soon to be last gen. It's phenomenal all around game. Great campaign, great multiplayer. Ran phenomenally. I think did it run at 60 consistently? Damn, it felt like 60. Felt like Unreal Tournament or something the way it ran. Very smooth, phenomenal game. And I think Eternal looks even better. What else? Bleeding Edge. That actually caught me by surprise. I actually had to watch that trailer like 3 times because watching it during the stream, I kind of was just, okay, we saw that. Let's, keep going. I was kind of ready for the next thing. But I actually went back and watched it a couple times. It looks great. I think it looks fun. Is it just 4v4 stack? Can you confirm that? Or is it?
From what it looked like to me, it sure looked 4v4.
Well, I don't. That's the only thing is, Overwatch is not. Overwatch is what 6, 5, or 6. I can't remember. But Overwatch is not too far off. 6v6, I think.
Yeah, I believe it's 6v6.
It's not. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work. Is it going to be Overwatch-ish? Obviously, it's going to get the comparisons. If it is, that's the only thing that I kind of worry about. How long are the legs going to be? But if this is something that they wanted to make forever, so I know they're going to support the game. I'm happy about that. And then my final one probably is going to be Cyberpunk, excluding Halo and Gears, because that game is going to crush the world when it comes out. I think that we're going to be extremely excited. I think everybody's going to be caught off guard now. I'm sure we're going to see more gameplay before it comes out. When is it? April of next year? I think it's April. Am I correct on that? I'm doing this all off the top of my head. I think it's April. 16th. Let me know, chat. April 16th. So great time. Yeah. Early in the year, prior to summer, we're going to be playing that shit all through Christmas. I promise. Some of us are still going to be playing it. So I think that it's amazing. That game for sure, by far. We didn't see a lot of gameplay, but I have no doubt that game is going to be fucking phenomenal. Outer Worlds is another honorable mention as well. I think Outer Worlds looked great. I actually saw some gameplay on that. Somebody put some shit up on YouTube. I don't know how he got it, but maybe he had clearance to put it up. It looked great. It looked like everything Fallout should have been. And I believe that the people that worked on Fallout also worked on this game anyway. So a lot of those guys were the same mind. But let's go ahead and bounce this over to you, Stag. What top 3 games, buddy? Where you at?
I'm actually really excited that none of you hit the games that I'm excited about. Actually,
there's more. I'm not. There's more. I'm doing this off the top.
No. I'm just excited that I can actually talk about these games, and you all didn't. One of them actually wasn't shown through the briefing. I played a demo of it on the floor. I've been waiting for this game for a while, and I'm really happy after playing the 20-minute demo that I'm still keeping my pre-order. But Biomutant.
Wait a minute.
Oh, really? You got to play it?
With the little furry thing?
Yeah, there was they had it on the E3 floor, and you could play a 20-minute demo, which I actually finished in about 17 minutes. I had a buddy next to me on my left, a relevant native, playing it, and I don't think he completed the demo. And then there was a girl on my right who was stuck like halfway through it. But other than that, like I enjoyed the hell out of it. I played 2 games the entire E3. I played that one first, and I refused to stand in lines, and it had like a 20-minute line. I played the demo. absolutely loved it. I really loved how the controls felt, the battles, the customizable characters, just how it felt like a large world.
Is that everything? Or going to be on everything? Or is
Yeah,
that
as far as I know, it's crossplay.
okay?
Did they give you a release
crossplay,
date?
but multi-plat. What's that?
Did they give you a release date?
I was getting there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding because I last time I heard that game was delayed, and now you got me like leaning forward. Listening to it.
And they did not say. So I didn't ask any of the people working the floor, but they didn't. There was no mention of a release date. But like after playing it and just the different mechanics and how the bosses were and how the fights worked, I was just like not canceling my. I pre-ordered the collector's edition. Way before I knew a whole lot about the game, but after playing the 20-minute demo, I'm sold. Like,
so okay,
100% sold.
Without giving us anything, what's the nearest comparison to that game? What did it feel like?
You know, I was trying to think about that today while I was writing out my notes, and like I don't know, man. I honestly it feels like a little bit of the combo system, not a whole lot, but like a little Devil May Cry-esque. But then it's got like every character has like EXP points that you notice that you're taking away. I mean, one of the bosses, like they have life bars, and like you take it all the way down and it comes back. You take it all the way down and it comes back like 3 freaking times, and then he takes you inside his body and you have to like kill his heart, and you get pooped out if you don't do everything right. It's amazing, and you have to start again. Yeah, he poops you out and then sits on you and you die.
Gee, what kind of box is that?
It was awesome. I freaking loved it.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
It was like, dude, it was awesome.
Nice.
It was really cool. Like, I mean, there was this one point where like, so I mean, you got like you get to tweak your character any way you want, pretty much, like color wise, and how your skill tree kind of is, like integrity, strength, speed, all that kind of stuff. When you start, you can change your colors, how fuzzy you are. I mean, I think we all basically start as one character, but you get to tweak how that character looks. And as you kill people as you're going, you pick up what I think were mutators, and it just kind of automatically mutates you. And at later points, you can actually go to like quasi crafting tables and like craft weapons, change how you are. And there was like a mech I got to ride in around at one point, and then other part there was like you suck yourself into this big, like I call it a phlegm bubble. I don't know if it's phlegm, but and it helps you bounce from area to area so you can like get further, and just I don't know. It was really cool. So that was my first game that I was really hyped at. I played that, and then I played a game by an indie dev, which I'm not going to talk about that, but. The other game I was really excited about when I saw it on the floor during the briefing was 12 Minutes. It's an interactive.
Oh, that's the game where he's just in the room. It's one room.
Yeah,
right?
interactive top-down trailer where you try and change events in those 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about games that have concepts of manipulating time and outcome and watching the story evolve based on your choices, and I mean they gave a release date of like for Xbox and PC in 2020, and that's definitely an indie title, and I'm a huge indie guy. I love indie titles. I've made a point of showing those off as much as possible on my channel, and I just really like the art. I really like the concept, and just the story really grabbed me when I saw that.
I feel like a butterfly effect type situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Butterfly effect type stuff going on,
And my third game, which I got to go to a press only hands off demo, that's not coming out till 2020, is Dying Light 2. I personally haven't played Dying Light, but now after watching that, I'm like, I forgot to look it up online to go buy it. But I haven't played Dying Light itself, but after having the pleasure of going to that freaking presser of the demo, I'll be playing the original, and I'm stoked for part 2. What stood out to me the most was like how your like I said about 12 Minutes, how your game choices have critical impacts on how your game story plays out. Like they made a point to tell us that like no two people will play the game the same way or experience the same story. Depending on what you do and the choices you make, you may not even see all the new types of like infected. I'm really excited to play that game just based on like if you do this one thing, it like releases all this water, and then a new type of infected shows up. But if you don't do that one thing, like the water stays and the story goes in a different direction. Like there was in the 45-minute demo, I probably saw at least 10 different situations where he had to make a choice, and that choice shaped how the game evolved going forward.
Wow. That's great. I didn't know it was that much, that level of interactivity.
I really hope that stays, because I mean, they showed a lot of people that 45-minute demo. They had a dev playing the game, and after, like, I thought I was going to get a hands-on, but after sitting there and watching the hands-on demo, I had a greater appreciation of why they had made it hands-off, because honestly, I would have spent the whole whatever demo not actually doing what they wanted me to and running around and just doing the parkour stuff. I mean, like I said, I haven't played the first one, but my understanding was they've added a grappling hook and like a paraglider thing, so you can like do more of your parkour and get further along into areas. And like, to me, it felt very like a little bit like Tomb Raider, a little bit like Mirror's Edge, with like they prefer to not call them zombies, but they're freaking zombies.
Yeah, we know what they are.
You know, but with like a little bit of like the Mass Effect, like not choice trees, but you get two choices usually. What I saw on every choice they made, you had two options. So it's just it really had me just like, wow. I walked out of there saying, wow, I've never thought of playing Dying Light before, but now I'm super interested in playing this game.
That's definitely one that I didn't consider, man. So that's a great Dying Light 1 was fantastic. It kind of fit that, because a lot of people weren't happy with what's the game, Dead Island? Those creators, and it kind of fit right at the beginning of the generation when the first one came out. It won a shit ton of awards and it scratched that itch. I don't know, you didn't play it, so you probably don't remember, but that game was phenomenal. And it had some DLC that came out later. What was the unique thing about the DLC, about like the multiplayer? What was it?
The following. With the car, man, you were in like a sand rail, and you were just able to tear through the maps like crazy, just mowing around. And you could even, your sand rail had a level up system. Like you could put a bigger engine in it and other stuff, or even weaponize it almost. Like, I mean, they really put some thought into that DLC.
Yeah, so that game has been phenomenal for a long time. You should definitely do yourself a favor, Stag. Go back and play it, because I got the game. Shit, I got the game. No, not Dead Island. Dying Light.
It's coming to Game Pass.
The chat's saying it's coming to Game Pass.
Oh, okay. Well, shit.
That's true.
Just play it then. I didn't know.
When's it coming?
Yeah, let us know.
I hate to interrupt, but I just want to point out.
I don't think they have a date.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just wanting to warn you guys. The co-op system for Dying Light, I don't know what's going on with it, but about a month ago, a friend of mine and me tried to co-op that game and play around. And from what I have found out, it's like whatever server they were using, they kind of shut it down. And ever since they did that, it's been extremely difficult to co-op that game with anybody, because most of the time it just errors out.
Okay, so be on the lookout for that.
Game Pass, though.
Yeah. Maybe they'll
server issues will be
iron
fixed.
that out. So let's go ahead and get to a couple of questions. Once again, Chad, you guys have been amazing all show. You guys show up, show out. Appreciate everybody. I'm gonna do some quick shout outs. John, Mark, Luis. Shout out Mr. J, Graphic God, man. Appreciate you, man. AP, Des Spank. I know Shonsu, my moderator of the year. Zinc, my other moderator, James. Stagger your creeping self down in the chat. Cyber Gunter. Everybody is here. I know I'm missing a few people, but everybody watching live, if you're not in the chat, appreciate you showing up. But we're going to get to a couple of these questions. I know, I think Salty had one. Let me go back a little bit, because there was a good question I made sure I wanted to ask that. I know it was Cyber. It was not Cyber, but Graphic Guy. It was Jay. Damn it, Jay, here it is. He said, what were you most impressed with at Microsoft conference, and what would you change? This may open up a can of worms. We don't got a whole nother hour, but we're going to go ahead and hit this one real quick, Jay. We want to make sure we get to your question. But I guess I'll start. I mean, I was more, like I said, I think I was most impressed with their commitment to the ecosystem. Xbox, people don't really give them credit, but they're always proverbially the first Indian over the hill. They do things first and they get a lot of arrows for it. And then everything, it happens later on, and then it becomes a normal thing, and everybody's like, oh, okay, that's what they were trying to do way the fuck earlier. We just kicked them in the ass for trying to do it. So this happens with Xbox. A lot of times they innovate, then everything catches up afterwards and it becomes normal. But I appreciate the fact that they seem to be all in on the brand. They're definitely listening, because they wouldn't have done some of the things that they've done thus far, purchasing studios, first party stuff, more games more often if they weren't listening to us. So that's the thing I was most impressed about. What would I change? The only thing I really wanted, I mean, there were some things I wanted to see, but the only thing I would have liked to see that we didn't see at all was some Gears campaign, like footage, like some actual gameplay. I would have liked to see that. I'm sure we're going to get some here before the game comes out. I'm almost 100% sure it's going to happen. But it would have been nice to kind of see on stage to get that wow factor, kind of like we got with Halo, even though we didn't see gameplay from Halo. So
yeah, but just like Halo, we know what we're getting.
Yeah, we know what we're getting.
A judgment game. I
yeah,
think showing escape mode was critical because that's the new thing.
True, that's a big deal too. And I mean, graphically, the game looked phenomenal, even better than 4. So I'm not worried about it in that. He did say no gameplay. You did say that, Jay. He put in like parentheses no gameplay about that. But okay, Jay. So let me throw that one out. Let's try another one. That was okay. So this is something that we talked about while we were watching it live, Jay, and I'm pretty sure everybody caught this. Maybe not put the Deer game after Cyberpunk. You know,
oh my god, the Deer game!
I don't have anything wrong with the game. It's just you went from Mount Everest to ground level. You know what I'm saying? As far as like excitement, you know what I'm saying? Like it kind of took a little bit off of Cyberpunk when right after that hot trailer we see deer antlers and Bambi and stuff like that. So I don't know. Other than that, I think it was fine. Other than that, so let's go ahead and bounce over to you, Zalker. Jesus Christ, Stagger. What would you have changed? Anything, or what did you like that you saw?
All right, so I liked everything. This is my first time going, so I'm a little bit like, it was a little not deer in the headlights, but just kind of like awing to me. You know what I mean? Like, because I had never been. I mean, I've done a lot of like tattoo conventions and stuff because that's been a big part of my life, but I've never been to anything like that, and I was just like. It was amazing. So the one thing I would change that had nothing to do with the presentation was the fucking shining light in my eyes the whole time. That's the only thing. There was like this light to my right that was just like, I had such a bad headache after the show. I was just like, really? Come on now.
That's just bad.
I mean, honestly, like it's so petty, but like that was the thing that I was just like bugged me the most. It was in my opinion, I didn't have any hype leading up to it because I kind of stayed away from everybody's the Twitter feeds and like because you were messaging me like my Twitter's a minefield right now and I'm like I'd read your messages and I'm like that's weird because mine isn't and I follow a lot of the same people you do. Yeah. But like I just I'm shiny. I went into it trying to be as not like blank slate, open-minded as I could possibly be and just experience the moment. And I loved it. So
awesome. I know from your perspective it's a little different because you were there, but I appreciate that. And that's at the end of the day, that's why we all enjoy this medium is because it's fun. It's like Fuzz said earlier, it's kind of escape from reality essentially. We just love it, man, and we're definitely gonna make headway and do that next year for sure. Hopefully, we're doing some shit from E3 next year. Go ahead.
And Keanu fucking Reeves walked on stage.
Was that a problem for you?
No, it was amazing.
Okay. I was gonna say,
no, not a problem, dude. That was just seriously like the show was amazing, but that one was just like it blew me away.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
It blew everybody away, but like it was just totally like talk about freaking unexpected.
Oh yeah. I didn't even know he was in the game.
I mean, just when they revealed that he was in the game was mind fucking blowing, and then he showed up on stage. Come on,
best kept secret in gaming.
Oh yeah, dude.
I don't know how the fuck they kept that a secret.
I read that they were using a stand-in. They didn't even like talk about it. Only like 3 or 4 people knew that he was doing it. So yeah, like nobody knew.
Oh, okay.
But who needed to know? Like Phil.
Yeah, that's about it. Phil and Satya maybe. That's about it. But either way, man, that was a great breakdown once again. So we're going to bounce this over to you, Centurion. What'd you think? I mean, what are some of the things you may have changed about the show, but what overall did you enjoy?
I enjoyed the show, but what I don't want it to be seen as I'm tearing it apart because I would change one thing, and I'm with you. I wish they would have shown some gameplay on Gears, but whether it would have been the campaign or the escape mode, because technically what we got for escape mode was a trailer. So I would have preferred I would have not minded gameplay for either or,
You mean at the event, right? Because they
at
did
the event. Well, that's one thing. That's what I wanted to address and what I would change. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this. I have no problem being wrong, but we know throughout the generation that gaming media sites have kind of been a little harsh on Xbox. And the last thing I would have done if I was in Phil Spencer's place was give exclusive anything to IGN. And that's one thing I would have just been like, no, we're just going to show it on stage because you guys really haven't been cool. So we're just going to show it on stage rather than allowing IGN to have an exclusive. That's just one thing I just kind of didn't really agree with, because it's just like, I understand you're trying to be nice to the gaming media because they are the gaming media. But at the end of the day, they've been kind of, a little harsh in how they treat them compared to others. I'm not saying that there's some conspiracy theory of biasness out there, but
Centurion, let me cut you off for a second.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry.
Graphic. So Jay in the chat troll, he said, "You guys are copping out. Stop saying gameplay. I like surprises."
I didn't need gameplay to enjoy it.
Exactly. So I mean, it's. I get your point, Jay. Appreciate that. He did say no gameplay. There's not much outside of gameplay. I mean, it is a video game show that I would change. I mean, I don't know. Maybe change the color. I don't know. I mean, thinking about it, I'd have to sit with that for a little longer. Maybe even rewatch it to see outside of the gaming part.
I heard more people complain about the fact. I think people would have been fine without no gameplay. I would have been fine with no gameplay. It was the fact that they gave the gameplay to other sites. It was just like, hey, if you're going to show gameplay, show it at the event. Otherwise, have like an XO event or an Inside Xbox. Why? I've had more people ask the question, why was exclusivity given to IGN?
Not sure. Not sure at all. Not sure at all on that one, man. So that's a great question. Great question. So let's go ahead and bounce this over to Fuzz before we wrap up the show. We are running a little bit over, guys. I don't want to run too far over. So this is going to be the last one. So go ahead and get your question. And once again, it was, what did you enjoy, obviously, about the Xbox show or Microsoft show? But what is one thing outside of gameplay you maybe would have changed?
Well, the thing I enjoyed and the thing I was most impressed with, part of it might be because I would stay off of Twitter for the most part, was that aside from Bleeding Edge, there weren't that many leaks, or at least leaks that equated to what showed up on stage, to my understanding. I didn't really, scour Twitter too much, but the few things I did see, I mean, there was the Lego thing was mentioned a little early, and Bleeding Edge was.
Yeah.
So from a leak standpoint, I'm kind of glad that they were able to keep a lot of things under wrap and surprise some people with some stuff. The only thing I would change, man.
It's tough. I mean,
I think about the only thing. Yeah,
outside of gameplay,
there isn't really much to change. Yeah, there really isn't much to change. I think the only real thing, and I may mention, this was one of my only downsides, I would say, of the show, was pricing for xCloud outside of streaming it from your Xbox itself. That's the only thing. Mention the pricing. The only reason why I say mention the pricing is because their primary competitor, being Google, already talked about pricing, so that would have been their time to hopefully undercut them.
I'm not 100% sure it's a bad thing that they didn't mention it. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, Stadia did mention. Google has to mention price though. Microsoft is there's no rush to mention the price for xCloud. They're going to. True. Google has to. They have to they can't go 8 months, 10 months, 12 months without saying, hey, this is what it's going to cost. Google can't afford. This is their first their first foray, their hat in the ring, essentially, into the video game space. Xbox doesn't have to. I don't feel like they need to do that just yet. Let us see the technology work, then tell us how much it costs. Because it sucks to know how much it costs, and then everybody's like, oh, it kind of works, but it kind of doesn't. What would you rather have?
True.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm just, I don't know.
Could you imagine if Xbox came out with a 720p option for xCloud? Well, I'm just saying, like
Oh,
with what they went through, because the original console was 900p versus
Oh, got it.
1080p.
Got it.
Could you imagine right now if Xbox came out and said, "Yeah, if you just pay this price right here, you get 720," you'd probably get some people bringing up some past drama.
Yeah. So they got to be careful.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I think they're a lot more careful. But let me go ahead and let you finish, because I don't want to cut you off.
No, that was it. The leaks. I'm glad that there weren't as many as in the past, and the pricing was the only thing. That's it. Those are the only things
Nice.
I would change.
Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Once again, it's been a phenomenal show. We did run a little bit over, but goddamn it, this post E3, we had to get it out. So we've been kind of holding things in all week, kind of talking in the DMs. But once again, we appreciate everybody coming out, showing up, showing out. You guys do this every week. The show is getting better, bigger, more consistent. The chat is going crazy. So we appreciate you guys showing up, showing support and love to the channel. If on your way out, please smack the like button, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast. If you want a fair, objective as much as we can. I'm not going to be too crazy on that, but fair, objective, just a fun place to hang out and talk video games on the weekend or listen. This is the place. Best podcast on the weekends, bar none. I know Xbox in the chat. I appreciate your show too, brother, but I got to hype mine up. But either way, let's go ahead and just wrap everything up here. We're going to start with you, Stag. Let everybody know what you got coming up. Anything, anything big anybody need to know about?
I mean, I did just basically rebrand everything. No longer got them damn X's in my name. It's no longer Stagger Lee. It is now Staggerilla, which only makes me think I need like glass slippers. But aside from that, I think it's amazing. You can find me actually on all my channels except for Mixer as Staggerilla. On Mixer, it's just Stagger because they only allow you to change your name every 30 days, and I'm an idiot and screwed up. I'm going to be continually streaming, indie titles and newer content, and trying to raise money for 8-Bit Salute. That's pretty much all I got going on.
So once again, guys, I know a couple of you asked in the chat. I'm definitely going to go in post-show here, post-podcast, make sure everybody's information is in the description, links to channels, links to mixers, things like that. You guys will get all the information. Don't forget to check the description a little bit later. I'm going to change that post-show. But once again, Stag, appreciate you taking a little bit of time today. I know you kind of jet lag coming off the private jet. I understand. But appreciate you taking a little time, brother. Now, our guest of honor, Centurion, you're not even a guest at this point. You're just kind of part of the show, man. Appreciate you taking a little time out, but let everybody know what you got going on with the channel. Anything new going forward?
Well, I'm always releasing content as often as I can in between work and the rest of my personal life, but I really enjoyed being here again. I really enjoyed meeting Stagger because he wasn't here last show. I'm very humbled that you keep inviting me, and I love it every time you invite me to a show, man. I love talking about games with you guys. It's always a fun intellectual conversation. So yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter. I've even got a website, legionofgamer.com, and I also associate myself with bg4ghub.com with a great group of guys from the UK. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place.
Let's do it. Hey, you got to diversify that portfolio, man. We trying to retire out here. You got to get this done for sure. But either way, appreciate you taking some time out, man. It's always fun, man. Definitely going to be talking to you a little bit later, man. We have such a good time here on the show. Every week you're on. You've been on like I think 2-3 weeks now in a row, and this may just become a regular thing. Who knows? But let's go ahead and bounce on to you, Fuzz, man. I know what you got going on, but tell the world what the most interesting man in the world. You replaced the Dos Equis guy, by the way. So go ahead and let everybody know what you got going on, Fuzz.
Hey, I had a great time today. Glad to have Stagger back. Great having Centurion back on here. And as always, Blam, it's always fun talking games with you guys. You can catch me on Twitter at fuzzy_Belvedere, on PSN at fuzzy_Belvedere, and on Xbox Live, fuzzy_Belvedere, playing either Forza or Division for right now. Hopefully, I'm actively playing as opposed to watching me sleep. So, yeah, this awesome show. Glad everybody came out to listen in, and yeah, awesome time, man. Awesome time.
Nice, man. And once again, your host with the most, PTK Blam, across the board. Twitter, PTK, or actually first name, last name. I need to fix that too. But my first name, last name on Twitter, PTK Blam on Xbox Live. Hit me up, guys. Sometimes, a lot of times I'm not on during the day because I'm at work, but during the evening time, hit me up if you see me online. I'm usually going to be playing with, Fuzz or even Centurion or Shonsu. Shout out to you. So hit me up. We always like the game, but follow the channel, subscribe, support the channel like you guys have always been doing. Hit the like button. Thank you so much. Once again, guys, we have a goal, 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. We can definitely do it. You guys have been amazing. Share the content if you enjoy it. Just helps it be seen. So we're out of here, guys. Same time, same place next week. More amazing guests, more amazing topics. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there tomorrow as well. I know we got a couple here on the show. Matter of fact, I think all of us are dad. Well, no, Centurion, but happy Father's Day to you anyway. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Have a rest of your day. See you guys next week, same time, same place. We're out of here.
Peace.
Peace.
Later.